Ethan always threatened me with divorce, knowing full well I'd never leave. On my birthday, I invited many friends and family. One call from Chloe, and he was gone in a flash, completely ignoring my pleading eyes. That day, I became a joke. On that woman's Instagram post, Ethan was leisurely playing a game, a slender hand feeding him a potato chip. The caption read, "Got yelled at by a stranger today and cried, Zoxo." Luckily, Ethan spoils me and helped me reach Diamond League. So, playing games with her was more important than my birthday. This time, I stopped being dramatic. And I wouldn't be dramatic again. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. Ethan told me to meet him at Ethan's law firm for dinner, saying he had a surprise for me. His usual game of push and pull was his go-to move. He thought I always fell for it. Yesterday, I happened to see a picture the salesperson sent him. It was a designer handbag I'd coveted for ages but couldn't bring myself to buy. This must be the surprise he mentioned. I started picking out clothes and doing my makeup at noon, continuing until dark. The firm's entrance was shut tight, and I wasn't surprised in the slightest. After calling Ethan's cell phone over a dozen times, it finally connected. Chloe's sweet, complaining voice came through, "Ethan, your cell phone has been ringing forever." Ethan gave me the address. Before I could even finish asking, "Could you come pick me up?" he impatiently snapped, "Take a cab," and hung up. He was always like this, no explanations, just orders. In the past, I would have been in tears by now, but today, I felt no urge to cry at all. The lounge, which belonged to Ethan's family, was a place we had visited a few times when we were deeply in love. As soon as we entered the penthouse suite, Chloe intimately linked her arm through mine. She feigned a scolding tone, "Grace, look at Ethan insisting on such a fancy place. I just got my law license. Quickly, help me tell him off. Don't be so wasteful next time." I simply said, "Oh." Her eyes showed a hint of confusion, expecting me to be angry. After all, the restaurant I chose for my birthday was barely a tenth as luxurious as this place. Ethan glanced at me with some surprise but didn't bother to get up and greet me. I caught sight of the handbag on the table. Chloe excitedly picked it up and waved it at me. "Grace, Ethan gave it to me. He has good taste, right?" I smiled and said, "It really is beautiful." Ethan looked a bit stunned, clearly not expecting me to say that. Everyone at Ethan's law firm knew I was prone to jealousy and always dramatic, but I genuinely thought the handbag was pretty. He walked closer to me, looked at my face, and suddenly blurted out, "Your makeup is so heavy. It looks terrible." Everyone's gaze turned to me as if watching a show. I generously replied, "It is a bit heavy, I admit. Next time, I'll learn from Chloe and go for a natural makeup look." Ethan's eyes were filled with bewilderment. Uncharacteristically, he said, "Chloe saw that handbag and said she liked it. You're not mad, are you?" I asked blankly, "Mad about what?" He was about to say more but was pulled away by Chloe. I must admit, the food at this upscale lounge was truly delicious. When I used to come here, my eyes were only on Ethan, and I always forgot to enjoy the food. After dinner, Ethan thoughtfully helped Chloe put on her coat. As soon as I opened the car door, he snapped at me again, "Take a cab home. I'm dropping Chloe off first, she's not feeling well." He couldn't have been unaware that her place was only a few hundred meters away, while our home was over 10 kilometers. Chloe, looking smug, settled into the passenger seat. She didn't seem unwell at all, it was just a power play against me. I genuinely said goodbye and didn't spare them another glance. Before I even got home, I saw Chloe's Instagram post, commemorating the 30th TI. Me Ethan brewed ginger tea for me. Bye bye period cramps. The accompanying picture showed Ethan busy in an apron. 2 words popped into my mind, a perfect match. I even casually liked the post. Ethan and I had been married for 3 years, yet he had brewed ginger tea for her 30 times. When I had period cramps, all I ever got was, "You're being dramatic." If hadn't opened the door so loudly, I wouldn't have realized I'd fallen asleep, even having a few dreams. In the past, if he wasn't home, I wouldn't sleep, even if it meant waiting until dawn. His tone was slightly reproachful. "How could you go to sleep without waiting for me?" This man was so strange. Before, when I waited all night, he'd say, "Who are you trying to get sympathy from?" Now I didn't wait, and he still blamed me. Whatever, it didn't matter. I turned over and went back to sleep. A flicker of disbelief crossed Ethan's eyes, and his voice took on a hint of anger. "Grace, is a handbag really worth all this? I'll just buy you another one." Drowsily, I asked, "Handbag? What handbag?" His face was etched with mockery. "Don't pretend. I know you're mad I gave the handbag to Chloe, and now you're resorting to the silent treatment, right? I looked innocent. No, not at all. The handbag incident had long slipped my mind. He had a look that said he'd seen right through me. Stop being so dramatic. Are all women who graduated from private colleges like this? He had once pursued me relentlessly because I was pretty, not caring about my family background or education. But somewhere along the line, whenever we argued, he'd bring up my inferior education and how I couldn't compare to Chloe. After we got married, I begged him to arrange a job for me at his family's company, even if it was just reception. His eyes filled with disdain, and he said playfully, "You're not worthy." Yet, as soon as Chloe graduated, he arranged for her to join Ethan's law firm, personally mentored her through her license exams, and took her to meet major clients. As for me, I worked tirelessly in a beauty salon for 3 years before finally owning my small shop. Seeing my unusual expression, a flicker of what seemed like a pang of sympathy crossed Ethan's eyes. He was about to say something when his cell phone rang again. From his gentle tone, I knew without a doubt it was Chloe. I didn't sleep well that night. I kept feeling like someone opened the bedroom door to look at me multiple times. It must have been a nightmare. As usual, Ethan went to the kitchen to get breakfast but found nothing. He was somewhat surprised, considering I made him breakfast in a different way every single day of the year. I casually said, "There's milk in the fridge, heat it up yourself." He slammed his chopsticks down with a clatter, then turned to me and asked, "Grace, have you finished being dramatic?" I swear, I wasn't being dramatic. I didn't have time to argue with him. The beauty salon was launching new services soon, and I needed to go to Sandalwood for a week of training. Seeing me pack my luggage, he uncharacteristically asked, "Where are you going?" "On a business trip." I'd been on so many business trips, and he had never once asked me about them. Even when I took a red-eye flight to save money, he never picked me up or dropped me off. Yet, with Chloe, he always drove her everywhere. I had cried, I had been dramatic. In his eyes, I was just a drama queen. I admit I was dramatic. That's because I never felt secure with him. Ethan proactively picked up my suitcase. "I'll take you." A free ride, why not take advantage? Just as we drove out of the neighborhood entrance, an ill-timed ringtone sounded. He accidentally put it on speaker. Chloe's sickly sweet voice came through. Ethan, meow meow misses you, it hasn't eaten or drunk anything. Please come quickly." I used to despise her voice, even getting habitually anxious. Now, it sounded quite pleasant. Ethan's expression shifted slightly as he tried to explain, "Chloe lives alone and gets lonely, so I got her a cat." I let out a dry laugh. "That's good." Seeing my indifferent reaction, he looked a bit dejected, but still told me to take a cab to the airport by myself. I smiled lightly, waved goodbye to him, and walked away without looking back. After arriving at the hotel in Sandalwood, I opened Instagram. Chloe's post read, "Our little family of 3 enjoying the weekend." The picture showed Chloe holding a cute cat, with only Ethan's slender hand visible, not his face. Chloe was always so covertly manipulative. She'd say she saw Ethan as a brother while pulling petty tricks like a mistress. Now, I was like an observer, treating her like a virtual pet. After mischievously liking the post, I turned off my cell phone and went to training. No longer constantly worrying, I studied with even greater focus. When the host's dinner party began, I remembered my cell phone was off. Seeing a dozen missed calls from Ethan, I was a bit bewildered. He had sent me a message. Chloe said our little family of 3 was just a joke, don't misunderstand. She's just being childish. So he was making excuses for Chloe. He always told me not to mind Chloe, saying I was immature. But now I didn't care. I casually replied, "The cat is cute," and went to take a shower. When I returned, I saw the chat window was still on the previous screen, showing that he was typing. I ignored it and went straight to sleep. I found my sleep was much better now. Whenever I used to go on business trips, I would cautiously send him dozens of messages, telling him about all the delicious food, fun activities, and interesting places to shop. His replies were always just a single But for Chloe, he always had endless things to say and infinite patience. For the next few days, I was immersed in the training courses, and Ethan didn't contact me again. When it was time to go home, my best friend Sarah skipped an alumni event to pick me up at the airport. I asked doubtfully, "Why didn't you go?" She scoffed, "To watch Chloe perform." "No thanks." I burst out laughing. Sarah was Ethan's childhood friend and college classmate, and their families were longtime family friends. We became friends after a rocky start, and later, she couldn't stand Ethan's behavior and chose to side with me. In the arrival hall, 2 familiar figures appeared before me. Ethan met my confused gaze, looking somewhat flustered. He awkwardly explained, I didn't know you were coming back today. Chloe abruptly stepped between us. Sarah, Grace, these are my parents. They've been running Ethan ragged these past few days, wanting to go everywhere. They're quite a handful. So her parents were on a trip. Her playfully scolding tone was full of bragging. I politely greeted them, but Sarah unceremoniously rolled her eyes. A flicker of guilt seemed to cross Ethan's face. Back then, when my parents visited me, I was the only one who accompanied them. He always made excuses, saying he was busy with work, and we never even had one meal together. Later, I found out he was busy helping Chloe revise her thesis. That time, I cried for a long time. Ethan watched me for a while, then suddenly spoke with an expectant look, Grace, come to the alumni event with me. It was the first time he had ever invited me into his social circle. Chloe looked surprised and hastily said, Ethan, I'm worried Grace might feel uncomfortable going. After all, not everyone can fit into our circle. Seeing her challenging gaze, I actually found myself intrigued. Sarah and I shared a knowing glance, and she replied, don't bother with your fake concern. I'll go with her. Seeing me agree, Ethan's eyes lit up. Chloe's face seemed to show a hint of unwillingness. At the dinner, she sat directly next to Ethan. Ethan thoughtfully peeled shrimp for her and wiped her hands. As she ate, she kept glancing at me, as if afraid I wouldn't notice. I didn't care, but Sarah's face grew cold. Chloe, does shrimp peeled by another woman's husband taste good? At her words, everyone looked a bit surprised. Ethan's eyes faltered for a moment, then he said indulgently, I treat Chloe like a sister. Sarah, don't talk nonsense. I continued eating my food, while Chloe's face flushed slightly as she recounted how good Ethan had been to her in college. Ethan is just too sweet. One time I twisted my ankle, and he carried me to and from class every day. And get this. For my birthday, he actually. So, Ethan had done all these things for her. He remembered every holiday related to her, attended her coming-of-age party, and bought her all sorts of gifts. And I had nothing. Ethan was beside her, smiling foolishly. I was so lost in thought listening that I actually started to ship them a little. I remembered how I used to brag about Ethan's small kindnesses to my friends, telling them how he loved and pursued me. He actually flew into a rage and publicly called me pathetic. That time, I became the biggest joke among my friends. Thinking of this, I accidentally dropped a glass. Chloe looked flustered and innocently gazed at me. Grace, please don't misunderstand. I'm not saying all this to deliberately make you angry. It's just that Ethan is genuinely very good to me. A wave of nausea rose in my stomach. I picked up another glass nearby and smashed it on the floor. Seeing me deliberately provoking and embarrassing Chloe, Ethan yelled at me, his face full of anger, you really haven't changed, still so dramatic. I shouldn't have brought you out. Grace, are you trying to get a div? Before he could finish the word divorce, his gaze met my expectant eyes. I yearned for him to say it, for that would set me free. His eyes were wide with shock, probably never having seen me look at him like that before. He froze for a long time. Sarah led me out of that place of contention. She said seriously, Grace, you don't love him anymore, do you? Calmly scrolling and my cell phone, I replied, is it that obvious? Heh heh. After all, I used to pride myself on being the person who loved Ethan the most in this world. When I got home, the house was dark, he wasn't back yet. But by then, I didn't care anymore. I started going through renovation plans for a few new shops. After all, work was my priority now. At 2 in the morning, I finally felt sleepy. The beeping of the door lock indicated Ethan's return. Seeing that I wasn't asleep, a flash of surprise crossed his eyes, as if he saw me waiting up for him all night again. I glanced at his right hand, wrapped in gauze, and coolly replied, you're back. Then I continued scrolling on my cell phone. He paused, thinking I was still angry. Grace, I cut my hand. Without looking up, I replied, Band-Aids are in the drawer. In the past, if he were injured like this, I would have been frantic and cried until my eyes were red. But now, I just found him bothersome. His eyes fixed on my cell phone screen, which displayed an Instagram post from Chloe, annoying people got to me today, but Ethan made me a sweet cake. Zoxo the picture showed Ethan's injured hand. His eyes darted nervously, and he quickly explained, Chloe was a bit upset today and said she wanted a cake I made. So, he didn't continue. I remembered how I had begged him for a long time before he finally agreed to make me a heart-shaped cake. But halfway through, Chloe called him away, claiming she was upset. Yet, I kept that half-finished cake in the fridge for ages, reluctant to eat it, until it grew mold and Ethan threw it into the trash can. I secretly retrieved it and ate every last bit. The cake was fragrant and sweet. That night, I ended up in the emergency room, but I couldn't reach him by cell phone all night. I naively thought that by eating that half cake, I could have half of his heart. But she, on the other hand, could have it whenever she wished. Ethan saw me lost in thought and tried to hug me. I recoiled as if shocked, only saying, "The cake looks nice." He frowned and asked, "Don't you have anything else to say?" I half-jokingly said, "Not about this? How about divorce?" His face was filled with shock, his eyes disbelieving. After a long moment, he slowly said, "What nonsense are you talking about?" My heart felt absolutely nothing. Ethan followed me into the bedroom, burying his head in the crook of my neck, inhaling my scent. My stomach churned with nausea. I dismissively said, "I still have work to do, I'm going to the study." He stood rooted to the spot, unsure how to respond. He had said those words to me many times. This time I returned them to him. The next morning, he uncharacteristically brought me a heart-shaped fried egg. Without looking up, I replied, "I don't like this," and turned to grab a carton of milk from the fridge. He looked annoyed but didn't erupt. After a pause, he continued, "Tonight is Chloe's birthday. Will you come with me?" I silently nodded, and he smiled. When saw me, her expression froze for a moment, then she quickly put on her playful face. "Grace, I'm so glad you're not mad anymore. I thought you wouldn't come." She kept telling me not to be angry, that it was all her fault, simply to solidify my reputation as a drama queen. I couldn't be bothered to argue with her. I handed her a beautifully wrapped box and said, "Happy." This time Ethan sat next to me. Chloe's face was ashen, but she still managed a forced smile, raising her glass. "Grace, thank you for taking such good care of Ethan. I really need to learn from you." Her thoughtless words were nothing more than an attempt to make me see the ring on her finger. I casually complimented, "That's a beautiful ring." Her face flushed with shyness. "Ethan gave it to me. It's a matching set, Ethan, quickly show Grace yours." With that, she reached for Ethan's hand. My wedding ring was gone, replaced by a matching couple's ring with Chloe. Ethan panicked, stammering his explanation. "Gee. Grace, listen to me. I was just trying it on, but I couldn't take it off." I looked genuinely puzzled. "If it looks good, just keep wearing it. Why take it off?" A few obnoxious women nearby were also egging them on. "Mr. Ethan, maybe not being able to take off the ring is a sign from fate. Chloe is your true soulmate." I recognized them, they were Chloe's best friends. Hearing that, Ethan visibly showed an expression of disgust. He nervously put his arm around my shoulders and carefully said, "Grace, I'll find someone to take this ring off tomorrow. Please don't be mad." Chloe next to us suddenly burst into tears. "Grace, there's really nothing going on between Ethan and me. I shouldn't have had a birthday party and caused trouble for you." What she meant was that I had ruined her birthday party. I had no patience for her petty tricks and gestured for her to open the birthday gift I had given her. Everyone, curious, crowded closer. The moment the box was opened, Ethan's face instantly went pale. His voice trembled slightly. "Grace, could you please?" I firmly cut him off. "Ethan, I can get a divorce. You'll be a free man from now on." It felt so good to initiate the divorce, no wonder Ethan loved saying it so much. Just as I was about to flag a cab home, Ethan grabbed my arm. His eyes bloodshot, he said, "Grace, stop being dramatic. This time I was wrong, but let's be good from now on." He pressed the brooch back into my hand, telling me to hold on to it. I was a bit confused. He had always wanted a divorce, always wanted to take this brooch from me, so why was he unhappy now? I simply threw the brooch on the ground. Ethan's lips turned pale as he stared blankly at me. "Grace, I won't be like this anymore, I promise." I smiled. "Chloe is still waiting for you, go on." The confusion in his eyes deepened, but he eventually said nothing more. After getting home, I moved all my things to the guest room. Just as I set my alarm for 9, Ethan returned, much earlier than usual. Every year, Chloe's birthday used to be my most painful day. I would wait for him from dusk until dawn. Seeing the room in disarray, he became agitated. "Grace, there's no need to take it this far, is there? Why are you sleeping in a separate room?" I shook my head helplessly. "I'm not playing games. I genuinely want a divorce." The word divorce seemed to hit a nerve. He became somewhat hysterical, his voice rising. "Grace, you're joking, right? You can't just throw around the word divorce." A wave of irritation washed over me. "It's late, don't disturb the peace, okay? You're too loud." I turned and walked into the room. He probably forgot that he was the one who loved to bring up divorce the most. The moment I closed the door, I saw him hesitate, his expression defeated. For the past few years, my emotions felt like they had been held hostage by Ethan. I had lost my own joys and sorrows. Only after I chose to let him go did I regain control of my life. Sarah said that after my divorce, she'd set me up with a sweet, younger guy with an 8-pack. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. After hearing my laughter, the dark figure that had been standing outside the door disappeared. I finally crawled out of bed at 10 in the morning. Ethan, his eyes tired, said coaxingly, "Grace, I took the day off. Let's go see the ocean, didn't you always want to?" He talked on, even having packed my luggage for me. My swimsuit, sunscreen, portable charger, and skincare products were all neatly arranged. He even showed me the travel itinerary he'd put together overnight, telling me we could change anything that wasn't perfect. I almost didn't recognize Ethan in front of me. I remembered our 3rd wedding anniversary, when he and I were about to go to Greece. One call from Chloe, and he abandoned me at the airport alone. He left so quickly, he even forgot to return my cell phone. I dragged a large bag of luggage by myself, crying the whole way. I used a stranger's cell phone to call him, but he hung up countless times. Afterward, he never gave me an explanation. My silence stung him. He couldn't believe I would refuse prolonged time alone with him. His voice took on a pleading tone. "Grace, I truly want to be with you." "Sure," I said, my tone polite yet distant, just as his had once been with me. His eyes lit up. "It's good that you're not angry," he said. I was a bit puzzled. Where did I look angry? As he spoke, he reached out to touch my face. Seeing the ring on his ring finger, I recoiled as if shocked. He looked anxious. "Grace, I'm sorry, I haven't had a chance to take it off yet." I sincerely told him, "It really looks good. If you take it off, Chloe will be upset." He froze for a moment, trying to find some flaw in my expression. The old me would have been incredibly jealous of Chloe. His eyes were filled with disappointment. On the way to the airport, we passed a cake shop. He stealthily got out of the car and came back with a slice of my favorite red velvet cake. "I ordered it for you this morning. Your favorite fig-filled flavor." Once, I got home and found a red velvet cake on the table. I happily opened it and took a small bite. I accidentally glimpsed a greeting card inside the box, "Dear." My mind exploded, and my first reaction was fear. Ethan emerged from the bathroom, his eyes terrifyingly cold. I instinctively blurted out, "I'm sorry, I didn't see the card." I still remember how pathetic and desperate my tone was. That day he was furious. He shoved the cake into my face, yelling, "Eat it! Eat it!" Recalling that, I opened the car door and threw the cake into the trash can. I stopped liking this disgusting cake a long time ago. Ethan's smile froze. He seemed to remember something, and his face filled with sorrow. "Grace, I was wrong for getting cake on your face that time. Could you forgive me?" I impatiently waved my hand. "Just drive. Or we'll miss our flight." His eyes were cast down, his expression unreadable. As soon as we arrived at the airport, I posted on Instagram, a long-awaited getaway for two. The picture showed Ethan pulling my luggage. Sure enough, less than 5 minutes later, Ethan's cell phone rang. He told me with a serious face that Chloe had gotten into an argument with a client, and he needed to go handle it. "Grace, Chloe is young and naive, I have to help her sort this out. She's really upset. We can go to the beach another time." Seeing my lack of reaction, he said in a nearly pleading voice, "Grace, we'll definitely go tomorrow. I'll change the flight tickets right now." I let out a light laugh. "Ethan, there's no need. I never intended to travel with you anyway." I pulled out the divorce papers I had prepared beforehand and handed them to him. "Sign these, and we're done." His hand trembled violently, and he looked at me, his face pale. "Grace, are you still misunderstanding? Chloe and I are innocent." I shook my head indifferently. "I'll leave with nothing. You have no objections, do you, Mr. Ethan?" Hearing the words "leave with nothing," he paused. He was the heir to the Chi and a renowned lawyer, but I didn't want to fight him for assets. I had nothing when I married him, and I would take nothing when I left. His hand tightened around the papers. "Grace, don't be like this, Chloe and I." I rudely cut him off. "Just like that. Let me know when you've signed it." I turned and boarded the plane alone. Sarah brought a sweet, younger guy and followed me to the beach. "Hi, I'm Liam." His voice was sweet, but his physique was wild. That night, the clinking of glasses and the sounds of singing and dancing filled the air. Everything was so beautiful. Liam was very attentive. In less than 24 hours together, he already knew all my preferences. If I didn't like the hotel breakfast, he'd cook whatever I wanted. After a hangover, he'd make me a hangover remedy. I just casually mentioned I wanted seafood from Lily's, and he woke up at 4 in the morning to get it for me. Until one day, he took my hand. Grace, your hands are so pretty, and your nails are lovely too. I flustered. Liam, I'm not divorced yet. This isn't appropriate for us. Sarah, standing nearby, burst out laughing. Grace, don't worry. He has a boyfriend. My jaw dropped, then I let out a sigh of relief. A picture of Liam holding my hand was posted on Sarah's Instagram. I didn't expect Ethan to call me. His voice was hoarse. Grace, who is that man? It's none of your business. Have you signed the papers? My voice was as cold as ice. Tell me, who is that man? Why is he holding your hand? I could feel his anger, but what did it matter to me now? I impatiently hung up the cell phone and continued sunbathing on the beach. My cell phone rang repeatedly, finally ending with a text message. Grace, can we talk in person? Please give me another chance. I really didn't understand Ethan's behavior. If he had wanted a divorce for so long, why didn't he sign the papers? Was he just trying to spite me? We agreed to meet at the lounge. Chloe was wearing a low-cut dress, her face radiant with confidence. Ethan saw Liam next to me, and the anger in his eyes was almost overflowing. Sarah spoke first. Ethan, Grace is leaving with nothing. What more could you possibly be dissatisfied with? His face was pale. Grace, did you bring him here just to make me angry? I looked utterly bewildered. Ethan, what are you talking about? Why would I try to make you angry? He opened his mouth, unsure what to say. I waved over a waiter and ordered a table full of dishes. Try this, it's all your favorite. I put a large piece of baked ziti on Liam's plate, and he happily accepted it. I used to always serve Ethan food, but he would dismissively push it aside every time, completely disregarding my feelings. He said he didn't like people serving him, but Chloe was always the exception. Ethan served me a piece of beef. I moved it to the side of my bowl. Sore. Why, I don't like eating other people's spit. A hint of anger appeared on Chloe's face. Grace, don't go too far. You're really hurting Ethan's feelings. I shrugged. Ethan, hurry up and sign the papers. Once you're divorced, you two can get married quickly. Chloe put on her aggrieved expression again. Grace, you can misunderstand me, but you can't misunderstand Ethan. I chuckled dismissively. Chloe, stop pretending. I despise women who flirt with other people's husbands, you despicable woman. She didn't expect me to be so blunt. She froze for a long time, then managed to squeeze out 2 tears. Uncharacteristically, Ethan didn't notice her. He kept staring intently at me. He couldn't believe I had fallen for someone else so quickly. I fed Liam a spoonful of ice cream, and Ethan suddenly went wild, tearing the divorce papers into shreds. He roared, "You're not getting a divorce." I glanced at him as if watching a show, then pulled out a stack of divorce papers from my handbag. Keep tearing. Tear until you're satisfied. I have plenty. He stared at me in disbelief. Grace, do you really want a divorce? I nodded seriously. He finally believed that I wasn't tricking him or trying to make him angry. He smashed everything on the table and left without looking back. Sarah said, "You can go talk to Ethan's mom." How could I have forgotten about that woman? When I got married, she didn't even attend the wedding reception. One time Ethan brought me home for dinner, and his mom deliberately invited Chloe to embarrass me. At the dinner table, she subtly hinted that Ethan and Chloe were the true couple. Chloe giggled uncontrollably, and Ethan offered no explanation. After the meal, I was sent to the kitchen to wash dishes, completely ignored. When I arrived at Ethan's parents' house, Chloe was already there. Seeing her, I quipped, "In such a hurry to marry into the family, are we?" She said righteously, "I can't stand seeing Ethan being deceived by you." I laughed. Then, hurry up and call him, tell him to come divorce me. Eleanor's single phone call brought Ethan back. He hadn't expected me to be there. Chloe called out to him, "Ethan," but he didn't hear her, walking directly toward me instead. Chloe's face was utterly grim. His voice trembled slightly. "Grace, did my mom force you? I knew it. You wouldn't divorce me." He forced an ugly smile, then turned to Eleanor. "How many times have I told you? Don't interfere with Grace and my affairs." His angry expression reminded me of the past. That year, when he said he wanted to marry me, he spoke to Eleanor in the same tone. I interrupted him. "Ethan, you've misunderstood. I came to ask Eleanor to convince you to get a divorce." "What did you say?" He stared, disbelieving. "Grace, what are you talking about?" He despairingly covered his face and collapsed onto the couch. Eleanor scoffed, "Ethan, just sign it. Haven't you wanted to divorce her for a long time?" Chloe took a pen and slowly approached Ethan. Ethan, just sign it. There's nothing to miss about a woman like that. Hearing this, Ethan finally noticed Chloe was also there. His eyes bloodshot, he raised his hand and gave Chloe a slap. Did you interfere and say something to my mom? Chloe stumbled from the blow, her eyes reddening. She said with a whimper, Ethan, you hit me. The noise gave me a headache, so I grabbed my handbag and left that place of contention. I no longer dwelled on the divorce papers and focused on my career. Winter in the north was unsettlingly cold. The clerk told me a strange person had been lingering by the entrance lately and asked if they should call the police. I looked up and saw Ethan's figure. He was dressed lightly, his hair unkempt, and he looked much more haggard. His eyes lit up when he saw me approach. Grace, you came to see me. Did you miss me? I'm so cold. Come home with me. I politely replied, Mr. Ethan, please leave quickly. Your presence here is affecting my business. The light in his eyes dimmed. Grace, come home. I impatiently cut him off. Mr. Ethan, be rational. We're over. He reached out to grab my arm, then noticed the white mark on my ring finger. Grace, where's our wedding ring? His voice cracked with a whimper as he tried to appease me. Wife, look, I'm wearing my wedding ring. Where's yours? Where did yours go? I threw it away. I replied to him with a blank expression. He froze for a moment, then fled as if escaping. I told the clerk to send him away if they saw him again. From that day on, he came less and less often. My beauty salon's business got busier and busier, and I had no patience for these trivial matters. One day, 2 months later, Sarah said, Ethan said you called, but you didn't answer. He's agreed to sign the divorce papers. I let out a surprised oh. I had changed my cell phone number and hadn't told him. I charged my old phone, and countless messages popped up. Wife, I'm off work, can you pick me up? Wife, it's so cold at home without you. Wife, I'm sick, would you come back and see me? Wife, I made your favorite garlic butter shrimp today, please come back. The last message was, Wife, I agree to the divorce, come find me. There were hundreds of messages. Sarah frowned as she read them. He hasn't gone crazy, has he? I chuckled, someone like him? How could he go crazy? I hadn't imagined 2 months could change a person so much. Ethan, just give it to me once it's signed. His face was covered in stubble, and his eyes were slightly red. Grace, I know I was wrong. I gave Chloe to one of my buddies. I had heard about that. Ethan's buddy was an uncultured, slovenly trust fund kid. Chloe couldn't understand why Ethan, who had always been so good to her, would give her to someone like that. She pleaded with Eleanor, but Eleanor acted indifferent and detached, so Chloe had no choice but to acquiesce. Ethan crawled off the bed and knelt before me. Wife, please forgive me. I can't live without you. I looked at him, remembering my past self. Ethan, I gave you so many chances. When I cried night after night, who comforted me? When you left me at the airport, did you ever think I would feel a pang of sympathy? Do you know that I picked up the cake you threw in the trash can and ate it, simply because I was madly in love with you? Do you know that I took medication for depression because of you, but didn't dare to tell you I loved you? I was afraid you'd worry. But what did you ever do for me? You always just abandoned me. Deserted me. Ethan remained kneeling, silent for a long time. Later, I heard from others that he cried a lot that night. Even later, I heard he went crazy. Thank you for listening to today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.